are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Oh, killing in the name of, killing in the name of. And now you do what they told ya. 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 Those who die are justified for wearing the badge of the chosen race. You justify those that die by wearing the badge of the chosen race. Those who die are justified for wearing the badge of the chosen race. You justify those that die by wearing the badge of the chosen race. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that hold office. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses.
Oh, that is the most appropriate song ever for what we're going to talk about today. Thank you for joining me at 8 o'clock in the morning for the 4 people watching. I'm sure this will get watched a little bit more as we go. I am live. We're going to try and do why is my light so bright? There we go. That's better. I'm live from my dining room, and I'm going to dig into a case I know everybody's been talking about for the last 2 years, and now that there's election, all kinds of new stuff is popping up. It's a bunch of political BS. It's the only way I can describe it. And it's a lot of he said, she said. It's a lot of politics. It's a lot of political party BS, which if you follow us, you know we can't stand. And this is why we can't stand it. This is going to be a detailed account. We're going to go into the documents we have. We're going to go into the court docs. We're going to go into the emails. We're going to go into a timeline of when janitor Ricky Morrison was fired by the Mahoning County Commissioners in 2022. And for the record, I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I vote for who I think is right, and I call people out when I think they did something wrong. And looking at this timeline, I'm not going to lie. I truly believe the Mahoning County Commissioners, the Mahoning County prosecutor, and maybe the employees involved, the other people, we'll get into those people, had a political agenda to fire a janitor with cancer. They got caught. Ricky Morrison lawyered up, and then these people backtracked. And if you're from Mahoning County, if you're from Youngstown, you know this stuff has been going on in our area for years. Okay? 100%. Now, I am 100% doing this 30 days before, 20 days before an election. I'm not going to be like the other people who just filed a court case here. Oh, it's just because, this is the right time, and it's not. I'm totally doing this live 20 days before an election to try and convince you to not vote these people in. I'm not going to hide and say there's a Marty Desmond and Gino are saying, oh, we released this. It's just a coincidence that we'll talk about it more. The husband came out of DeGenova, who's the prosecutor. I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to lie. I'm honest. I'm a straight shooter. I don't want these people to get reelected because they did dirty to a janitor that was involved, that supported another political candidate. We'll talk about the settlement. We'll talk about the fallout. We'll talk about some new stuff. Most importantly, I'm going to go over the documents, okay? And I have a comment here. I know, Chris, it's cold. I'm cold. I'm old. I'm cold. In LA Instruction, by the way, he doesn't stand for this. This is my neighbor's construction company. All right. So, anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to go over I have all kinds of court docs that was given to me, emails. I have all kinds of stuff. But when you look at the timeline, it's too much coincidence. And of course, people are going to say, "Oh, this is hearsay. This is this. This is that." The bottom line is, when you look at the dates on the timeline, these commissioners freaking fired this guy, got caught, and then went into it. Okay, so let's dive right in a little bit. And one more thing before we get going, commissioners, I know you don't like me. I know Ditzler doesn't like me. I know Rigetti doesn't like me. You guys ever have a problem? Did you know you guys have a problem? Call me. 330-651-7081. I'd love to talk. I'd love to interview you. If you guys want to interview and defend yourselves, I'd love it. That'd be great. Let's talk this out. But what you're going to say is there's a court case pending, or we can't talk about it, like everybody else does when they're caught and busted in politics. You hide. Come out and talk to me. Won't do you any harm, right? We're irrelevant according to you guys. So come on out. All right, so let's get into this. The timeline. I have this all pulled up. Let me share my screen. And by the way, you're going to have to deal with me here, guys, while I do this. Here we go. All right, so let's get into the timeline a little bit, and we'll kind of go from there. So timeline number one, okay? DeGenova. We're going to be saying a bunch of different names. Gina DeGenova was hired, lower this down here, or was actually appointed to the Mahoning County Prosecutor's Office and be the Mahoning County Prosecutor when a guy by the name of Paul Gaines stepped down. Long time prosecutor, got shot in like the 80s or 90s. He's in that Mob Talk podcast, all that stuff. She gets appointed. There was also some questionable stuff with her getting appointed, with Paul Gaines like saying, if you don't support her to the commissioners, all this other, we're not going to get into that. Anyways, she gets appointed on November 22nd, 2022. Okay, that's DeGenova gets appointed. Then the next important date in our timeline is November 28th, 2022. Okay, this is when Carol Rigetti and Gino DeFabio were doing a recount. Rigetti was the current county prosecutor, was the current county commissioner. I'm messing up all my words. DeFabio was taking her on. It was really close. They go to a recount meeting in front of the Board of Elections. Again, that was on November 28th, 2022. Remember that date, okay? At that meeting with the recount, Rigetti spots a janitor by the name of Ricky Morrison sitting by Gino DeFabio, exercising his First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, freedom of whatever, to vote for who you want. Rigetti, after the meeting, and this is according to court documents, after the meeting, Morrison goes up and congratulates her. Says, hey, Carol, great job. Congratulations, you won. Carol calls him out and says, don't you work for us? Who are you? Thought he was somebody else. He says, I'm Ricky Morrison. I'm a janitor. She says, unbelievable, something like that, and walks away. November 28th, okay? She sees him, knows he's doing it. He's there supporting it, practicing his First Amendment rights. Now, this is where we get into the good stuff, and this is where we're going to be pulling up paperwork. On December 1st, 2022, okay? November 28th, December 1st, 2022, a meeting is called by the commissioners. Now, this is where we get into the good stuff. From a Freedom of Information Act request. Let's see if we can find this here. I think I forgot to download that. Ah, crap. Hold on a second. There was a meeting held, and here we go. Letter of termination. So, anyways, they meet. Let me grab this. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Sorry. This was live. I thought I was ready. It's early. You guys got to give me a break here. Let me pull this up. I actually have the sign-in sheet, if you believe that, to the meeting that they held, if I can find it. I know it's in here somewhere. Did I ever tell you guys how unprofessional we are? I think I have. All right, let's see here. We're going to open this baby up. I'm on, baby. And it's not opening. Download this. And then I got one more. I apologize, everybody. Well, you guys be patient with me, please. Oops. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's so good. So good. All right. All right. So good. All right. So these freaking guys have a meeting. That would be the commissioners. And here's the sign-in sheet. Check this out. So, sign-in sheet to the meeting. As you can see, this is on Thursday, December 1st, 2022 at 1:15 p.m. You have Carol Righetti, David Ditzler, Anthony Trafficani, Audrey Tillis, who is the county administrator. You have Holly Mussolini Gooden, who is the deputy clerk. You have Karen from HR. Karen from HR. That cracks me up. Karen from HR. It's typical. Okay. And then Alan Landfried, facilities. That is Ricky Morrison's boss. Righetti, Ditzler, Trafficani, Audrey Tillis, Gooden, deputy clerk, Karen from HR, Ricky Morrison's boss, Alan. All those people are there 4 days after Righetti sees Ricky in a meeting. 4 days. 4 days. Okay? They meet. They're all there. That is so important for you to understand. They are all in this meeting. They do their normal stuff. Okay? They do their normal stuff. And then they go into what is called, let me pull this up, an executive meeting. Same date, December 1st, executive meeting. It is concerning OMB, facilities, and HR. They are admitting those people are there. It is personal matters, to consider the dismissal of an employee, to consider compensation of an public employee or official, security matters. This is the big one. Consider dismissal of a public employee, security matters, motion by Carol Righetti, seconded by Dave. The roll call was taken. Ditzler, Righetti, Trafficani, they all meet. They're all there. The board went into executive session at 1:14. Okay, you guys got that? You see that? See what's going on here? Dismissed at 2:15. Boom, boom, boom. It's all lined up. You take that document, you take the other document, you know who's in this meeting. They go into an executive session and they come out. An executive session, for those of you who don't know, that is when public officials can meet to talk about things not publicly, aka hiring, firing, salaries that the public doesn't need to know and isn't permitted to know. Okay, there are some questionable things about this meeting. You have to do a announcement that you're going into executive session, and you have to do like a 24-hour notice to the public. That was never given according to the court documents. Okay, they go into this executive meeting, and guess what happens? Anybody want to guess? Anybody? No guesses. No guesses. Let me pull this up here. It's amazing when you really look at this. Okay, I'm going to go at large document so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, here we go. This is fun. December 1st, they have a meeting. 1:15 or whatever it is, executive session. HR goes in. Commissioners go in. Audrey Tillis goes in, who is the county the county administrator. All these people go into this meeting. The next morning at 9 a.m., okay? This is the letter that was given to Ricky Morrison. He's called into a meeting with his boss. Remember this name? Alan Lanfried. He was in that meeting. This is to inform you that your employment as a custodian with Mahoning County Facilities Department is being terminated at the end of the business day, Friday, December 2nd, 2022. What's funny is they fired him and they let him work out the day. Who does that? You know who does that? A boss that knows something's messed up and it's wrong. And that was actually commented in the court documents that were filed by Ricky's lawyer that said, hey, this guy actually fired him and let him work. Who does that? And if it was a security concern, like that other document said, you don't leave somebody to work there if it's a security concern. The whole thing stinks. Also, guess who else is on this letter? Karen from HR. Karen's there too. First one. So she was in the meeting too. Of course, if you're going to fire somebody, you're going to do it. Tell me right now, is it a coincidence that on the 1st of December, 2022, all of the commissioners are in a meeting? Karen from HR is there. Ricky Morrison's boss is there. And then the next day, he's fired at 9 a.m. Fired. Letter says it. That is important to remember because later on, Ditzler, county commissioner, said he was on probation. Does that look like probation? Ditzler, I'm sorry, you're a freaking liar. That was there. You were in that meeting and you know it. Okay? What's funny is human resources, Prosecutor DeGenova was not there. And again, let's look at this timeline because this is important. Okay. November 26th, DeGenova is appointed prosecutor to take over December 1st. She's appointed by the commissioners. She's going to need their support when the election comes up. And that is all documented in this care case. She has something, she needs to help these people to keep her job, right? Now, I have no evidence that DeGenova said, hey, if you do, the commissioner said to her, hey, if you do this, if you do that, we're going to keep you in power. We're going to keep you in the position. But you know DeGenova is thinking that. This is her first day on the job. December 1st, they had a meeting to fire a janitor with cancer. And now she screws up, or the commissioner screwed up, HR, whatever. They messed up. So now, guess what's going to happen? Okay. He gets fired. Ricky Morrison gets fired. He gets the letter. He goes home. Okay. Goes home. Immediately calls Gino DeGenova. Now, this is all according to the court documents. This can be all backed up. Everything I'm saying, I've read through this stuff 100 times. I did a podcast. If you haven't watched it, it's on Spotify, or no, watch it, listen to it. It's on Spotify. You can watch it or listen to it, and I go over all the documents. But this is way better because this is like you can see this stuff. You can see the dates. You can see the times. He goes home and calls Rick. He goes home and calls DeFabio, his good friend. Says, I got fired. Okay, I got fired. I don't know what to do. DeFabio supposedly calls Anthony Trafficani. Of the commissioners, Trafficani, to me, in my opinion, is probably the best one, the most legit. I think he does care. Rigetti and Ditzler, in my opinion, are all politics. They've been there forever. They care about their Democratic Party. Ditzler was in charge of the Democratic Party. This is who these people are. And the fact that they obviously were in a meeting to fire a janitor after Rigetti saw him. It's obvious when you look at the timeline. There you go. So getting into it even more, let's keep going here. He calls DeFabio. DeFabio says, holy crap, what's going on? DeFabio talks to Trafficani. Trafficani, the commissioner, says, I was against it. This is, again, all in the court documents. According to Ricky Morrison and his wife, Trafficani called Morrison, says, and this is all in the court docs. I'm not making this crap up. This is in the court docs. Now, you could say these court docs are one-sided. You could say they're a lie. You could say all this, but this is what is being accounted by Ricky Morrison and his wife. Trafficani said he was in that meeting on the 1st, said it wasn't right, wasn't fair on the phone to Ricky Morrison and his wife, said he stormed out of the meeting, said it wasn't fair, it wasn't right. Okay? Ricky, cancer patient, under treatment, no medical, he could possibly die. He's got cancer, right? He loses his medical stuff. So Ricky Morrison does something that most people in Mahoning County are afraid to do when it comes to these freaking bully commissioners and bully politicians. You have like the different local things. I feel this happens a lot more than people say. He lawyers up with a guy by the Chandra Law Firm. This guy, Chandra and his guys, have sued local Ohio leaders over and over and over. He fights for the First Amendment rights. He fights for some of this stuff. I don't believe with all his political beliefs. He's very political, again, but I do believe in what he does for the people. And he sends them a letter. Go back to our thing. He sends them a letter on... Quit emailing me, work. I'm trying to freaking do a podcast here. Hold on, let me close this. He emails them a letter on December 11th. Okay? Emails them a letter on December 11th. Now, I have a copy of that letter. Let me grab that. Letter to commissioners from Chandra. He actually sends 2 letters, and this is pretty good. Okay, here we go. Read this. Dear commissioners, our firm represents Mr. Ricky Morrison, a former county employee whom you unlawfully terminated in violation of the First and 14th Amendments of the United States. We demand that you mitigate the harm you have inflicted. You immediately and unconditionally reinstate Mr. Morrison to his original position, salary benefits. He is a cancer patient. You have inflicted irreparable terrible harm on him by stripping him of his health care and needs now. We explain below the constitutional principles we believe are at stake. Mr. Morrison has experienced, you have until Friday, December 16th, 2022. The First Amendment guarantees public employees freedom of speech, freedom of association and rights, as well as the right to petition a government for redress. First Amendment, just for those of you watching at home, because I hear about it all the time in the groups, is for being protected by the government of your freedom of speech. This would be a great example of this, right? The First Amendment is to establish a First Amendment retaliation claim, a public employee must demonstrate that 1, the employee engaged in constitutionally protected speech or conduct and adverse action was taken against them. Casual connection to the elements 1 and 2, that okay, blah, 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 a bunch of lawyer stuff. Goes on to how you violated his rights. And goes over exactly all the stuff I went over before. He then asked for all cell phone records, all emails, text messages, all records of communication about Mr. Morrison, whether name or implied. Again, Freedom of Information Act. And he goes, in conclusion, we take Mr. Morrison's case very seriously. Our determination and success in this matters are blah, blah, blah. Yeah, December 16th. Okay, got that. You got it. So that's the letter. That is a F around and find out letter from Chandra. Fair? Okay, so then there's another email that was sent. DeGenova, or from Chandra to DeGenova. So this letter goes out on the 9th. Okay? That letter goes out on the 9th. See it right there. An email goes to DeGenova. And this is also, now this is on the 11th. Friday, Chandra must have been sitting around bored, so then he sends an email, right, on Sunday. We're going to watch a video where DeGenova in a little bit talks about this letter, or talks about this email that she got, okay? Remember this letter. Nowhere in here does he ask for her to do an investigation. That is important to remember, because I have a video from last night's debate that says he asked her to do an investigation. That is not what he says here. Gina, you were wrong in saying that. Here we go. Dear Prosecutor DeGenova, I trust you have been well. Congratulations to you on your appointment as prosecuting attorney. You have entrusted with a weighty responsibility as someone who was once similarly entrusted as a city law director. FYI, he was the city law director of Cleveland. I know just how heavy the leadership mantle can be at times. As you weigh the individual client decision makers want to against. Okay. This is a good one. I know just how heavy the leadership mantle can be at times as you weigh what individual client decision makers want. Client decision makers, that's the commissioners he's referring to, against what is the public interest. I always try to choose the public interest. I hope you do so as well. Such a moment confronts you early in your tenure, 9 days. Please see attached letter as it explains. That's the letter that we just read. County commissioners engineered the firing of our county maintenance worker, Ricky Morrison. By doing so, Mahoning County officials have deprived Mr. Morrison of his health care benefits. Okay. This is the part you have to remember because Gina talks about this in a thing we're going to see, right? It is up to you as county's lead lawyer to rectify the situation. Doesn't say for an investigation. Remember that. Please consider this a taxpayer demand letter to you on Mr. Morrison's behalf. And please ensure that Mr. Morrison is reinstated to his job immediately with full salary and benefits, including health insurance, so that there is no disruption to his cancer care. You have the opportunity to act in the public interest. After all, as the county's lawyer, you are in a position to correct this injustice by telling the county commissioners and administrator that they must correct this and correct it now. Based on the taxpayer demand letter, you even have the authority to bring a lawsuit against them. He's not calling for an investigation. He says, bring a lawsuit against them. Do your job. Something wrong happened here. He was wrongfully fired. Bring a lawsuit, please. That's what he said. He didn't say an investigation. Okay? He did not say it. Against them to correct this abuse of power. Okay? And it is moments like this that define a character as public servants. As it gets to know you and the public wants to know, what is your character, Gina? What is it? Will you be the people's lawyer, a champion of the workers, or will you rubber stamp and fail to correct the unconstitutional injustice to a cancer-stricken Lyon County worker and his family on Christmas season? By the way, it was like 2 weeks before Christmas. Let's keep that in mind too, right? Fired. I mean, imagine that. There's his number. All right. So we got all that. Put that all together. He did not say do an investigation. Now, let me pull this clip up. This is from last night. This is covering a recently filed lawsuit by Marty Desmond, complaining. We'll get into that here shortly. This might be the longest video I've ever done. But let me pull this up. Pull this over.
So it just seems a little paradoxical.
All right.
We'll move on because we have more to get into on that topic, but not just yet. First, Ms. DeGenova, this is to you. Last week, it's tomorrow. Thank you. First of all,
This is her response, and we're going to watch this whole video here in a little bit.
So when my opponent talks about this alleged conflict that I had to investigate my own clients, this is not criminal misconduct that was alleged. And I can tell you,
here we go.
To investigate my own clients, this is not criminal misconduct that was alleged. And I can tell you who didn't think I had a conflict was Ricky Morrison's lawyer, Sabot Shaw.
Here it comes.
He contacted me directly on a Sunday in December and implored me, not anyone else, me, to do the investigation, to look into
What are you talking about?
I advised my clients that Mr.
What in the world? Let me close this because she's rattling. What in God's name are you talking about? I gotta shut this off. I can't find it. Why can't I shut this off? What in the world are you talking about, Gina? Did you get the same email we did? Where in this email does he say you need to investigate? Where'd it go? Oh, God. Lord in heaven. Hold on. I'm a mess. I get all fired up. You guys tired? I get fired up. Okay. Where in this letter does it say do an investigation? It doesn't. It says you should sue them. You can act all nice, Gina. You can say you're not politically motivated. You can say all that. You just straight up lied in a debate. Nowhere in that letter does it say you should lead an investigation on your own people. If you read the letter, it straight up says, one more time, based on the taxpayer demand letter, you even have the authority to bring a lawsuit against them to correct this abuse of power. To me, that is saying you should sue your commissioners, not investigate them yourself. By the way, investigate them themselves. Correct me if I'm wrong. Looking at our timeline one more time, you were just appointed by them. Then you are going to have their support when you get reelected. How long has this been going on like this in Mahoning County? Like, this is crazy. And I truly believe if Ricky didn't lawyer up, he would not have his job back. Okay? So let's keep going. We're going to keep going. I thank you, 16 people, for watching. If you're watching this later, I am ranting and raving about the Mahoning County commissioners, DeGenova, the prosecutor, the administrator, Tillis. We're going to get into all this stuff. Okay? All right, here we go. Ooh, keep going, Luke. Keep going. I should have had more cups of coffee. All right, so then, letter, let's see here. Where is that letter at? Okay. The following day, Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Upon receipt of your correspondence, this is from DeGenova to Chandra Law. Upon receipt of your correspondence, as prosecutor, I conducted an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the December 2nd fire termination of your client, Ricky Morrison. My investigation revealed that the decision to terminate Mr. Morrison was not made by the county administrator, not by the court. Was made by the county administrator, not the Board of Commissioners. And that the county administrator's action was not politically motivated. Okay? An investigation by a Mahoning County prosecutor who is basically representing the commissioners, as in law stuff happens, right? Just got nominated by the commissioners, will need their support for re-election. Follow all that? Okay. This is where, in my opinion, she messes up big time. Okay? A board of county commissioners may only act as a board and through formal resolution. Because Mr. Morrison's termination was initiated by the county administrator and no board action was taken, Mr. Morrison's termination is void ab initio, whatever the hell that Latin word is. Okay, now, what does that mean? Let's use our little Google here, because I am not a lawyer, never claimed to be. Void ab initio. Void ab initio is a Latin term that means something is invalid from the beginning. Invalid from the beginning, okay? Has no legal effect from the start. So they're saying Audrey Tillis, the county administrator, did not have the authority to fire him. Right? Straight up, easy. So she's saying he didn't have the authority. She didn't have the authority to fire him. It needs to be done by the board. It needs a resolution, right? So there you go. So the commissioners would have to go in and fire him, and then we're going to give him his job back because Audrey messed up. She fired somebody. She messed up. She's new, kind of, from like 2020. She doesn't know her role. I mean, I'm just throwing that in there, right? Hold on a second, because I got some better stuff for you if you're watching this at home. According, Mr. Morrison's termination is void ab initio. The commissioners will not ratify the action taken by the county administrator. Accordingly, please notify Mr. Morrison that he should report to work tomorrow, December 13th. He will suffer no loss of pay or interruption of health. Ricky gets his job back. Okay. Everything is well and good, right? He should be happy. But my thing is, and this is, I'm going to go to the grave. Would he have gotten his job back if he didn't lawyer up? Yes or no? Answer that question at home if you're watching. Would he have gotten his job back? Would Gina have went in there and done that if he didn't lawyer up? With the right? Okay. Now let's get into the good stuff here with this one. So remember, void ab initio. What was that? It was void from the beginning. She had no authority to do that, correct? Right? 100%. There's no authority to do that. She couldn't possibly have the authority to do that because, all right, hold on a second. Here we go. Let's see, what's the date? Looking for the date. Where's the date? 8/4/2020.
Okay.
Sorry. Shut up. 8/4/2020. Poor Mr. James R. Bertandio, which was a tape through a court document. He was fired by Audrey Tillis. Look at that. Letter, James Bertandio. Oh, there's Karen again. God, Karen is firing everybody. Karen from Director of HR Human Resources. Audrey Tillis. Fired. This guy was fired by Audrey Tillis. And why, do you ask, does he have this power, right? We thought they didn't have the power. Am I right? Well, it turns out, I'm looking for that thing that I had here. Where's this at? Email, pointing Tillis. Email, hold on, let's see here. That's it. That was saying when she was put in the executive meeting. Anyways, here's how she got it. I can tell you. There is a resolution. And remember, you guys all remember COVID? COVID resolution. 2020 gave Audrey Tillis, the administrator, full power to fire, hire, make decisions for the commissioners because it was that. They never removed it. It was never done. She still had the power to fire Ricky Morrison. So Gina is using that as an excuse, saying, oh, she can't hire or fire anybody. But she can. There's a resolution that says that. I have a copy of it. I'm not digging it up. It's in there. I could send it to you if you don't believe me. I can email it to you. Gina now is starting to dig herself in a hole. She is now saying things that aren't accurate. And what does that mean? I don't know if it's intentional or not. But as a taxpayer, as somebody on the outside looking in, when I see somebody who was appointed 6, 7 days, 10 days, whatever it was, by the commissioners into a position of power as a prosecutor to cover their, and then all of a sudden those people get into trouble by firing a guy for political reasons. We have all the documents that show that. All of a sudden now she is backtracking, trying to cover those people's tracks. Gina, you might not have done it intentionally, but that was 100% incorrect again. 2 times now, Gina, you have basically not said the truth. One, Chandra did not call for an investigation. He called for you to basically fire them, or to do it to do a court, an investigation, or even possibly file a court stuff against the commissioners. And 2, you covered it up because Audrey Tillis had the power to fire Ricky Morrison. That's twice now. Twice. So you can claim in your little video and about the current issue with your husband and the thing that we're going to get into later. But the bottom line is, you twice now, you have made a mistake. You either purposely lied or you didn't know. Okay? Now, back into the timeline. Ricky is reinstated, as we said, right here. Okay? On July, Ricky then goes on, we're going to summarize this here. Ricky then goes on, files a complaint. Let me pull this up. I got the court documents. Isn't this great? Look what you can do. Look what you can do. You can get all this stuff right online. It's really cool. Yeah, right online. Here we go. Right online. You can get all this stuff online. You can do freedom of information. You can get all this stuff. Okay. Ricky Morrison, wrongfully fired, gets his job back and says, you know what, screw you people. I am suing you. And I don't blame him. He sues them. He goes against the Mahoning County Board of Commissions, Carol Rigetti, David Ditzler, Anthony Trafficani, Gina DiGenova, Audrey Tillis, all defendants in the case. Goes on to say, basically, you wrongfully fired me and all this other lawyer mumbo jumbo. It goes through the story, which we've gone over. If anybody wants these, I can send you all this stuff. It's all public. Let me know. I'd love to send this to you. It actually goes into, which is where I got some of the stuff about Trafficani. Commissioner Trafficani tells multiple people that there are two other commissioners engineered the firing of Morrison. DeFabio, we contacted him. Trafficani on the phone conversation apologized for the firing, said he felt horrible. This is when he was talking to Morrison. Goes on to say, acknowledged speaking to Fabio a day before, which we talked about. Trafficani stated the commissioners met in a characterized as an executive session on Thursday, December 1st, which is what we have. During the meeting, Trafficani said Rigetti and Ditzler voted to terminate Morrison, which Trafficani opposed. Wait a second. In a phone conversation, Trafficani said they voted to fire him, those two. What did DiGenova say? DiGenova said that it was Audrey Tillis. You guys getting all this? Are you seeing all this going on? Why there's a cover-up lawsuit now in October 2024 when you really, really dig into this? Trafficani said he walked out and slammed the door. Morrison asked Trafficani, why was he terminated? And Trafficani said, you know that, referring to his attendance at the board meeting. Trafficani even offered to help Morrison find another job somewhere and told him he could come to his office and visit anytime. Did Ricky Morrison make this up? We can't prove that conversation took place unless there's a recording somewhere, which I've heard rumors that there's a recording of that conversation. If that conversation is out there and is recorded somewhere, I sure hope in the upcoming lawsuit that is taking place now, that happens. Because if that is the case, you have DiGenova lying, you have Trafficani lying, you have Ditzler lying, and you have Rigetti lying. They're all lying. Okay. Keep going here. All right. It gets into some good stuff here. This law stuff. This is why I'm not a lawyer. I don't have the patience to do all this stuff. Where are the okay. These are good. Claims. So this is what he's claiming. First Amendment retaliation, which is again met with Rigetti, or was caught by Rigetti and then got fired. Intimidation using a false or fraudulent writing under Ohio Ag Code. Plaintiffs, this is basically on purpose sending out incorrect information. There you go. And it just goes on and on and on. Okay. Basically accusing the commissioners, DiGenova and Audrey Tillis, of firing Ricky, violating his rights, doing all kinds of shady shit. In July 25th, 2023, Ricky Morrison is awarded $175,000. Okay, that is a civil lawsuit. The commissioners, DiGenova, Audrey Tillis, they settle. They say, okay, we are settling. We don't want to drag this to court. We're going to pay you. However, Rigetti, DiGenova, Ditzler, they all doubled down in articles in the Vindicator on WFMJ. They doubled down, saying they did nothing wrong, saying they're just settling it because they don't want to go to court, and they said they'll win. Ditzler was cocky enough to say, oh, we'd win if we went to court. I want to take them to court. That's what he said at a meeting. But they still settle, basically saying they did nothing wrong. Let's go back again. So think about what we've gone over. Paperwork showing Ditzler and them in a meeting. Ditzler, Rigetti, Trafficani in a meeting, executive session to fire Ricky Morrison. You have Trafficani on a phone conversation saying to Ricky Morrison, they voted on it. He said no. Ditzler and Rigetti said yes. Then they try and scapegoat poor Audrey Tillis, saying she fired him, and that was it. It goes on. So then we're all thinking it's done. By the way, I've been fighting for this for 2 years, 3 years to get some attention on the fact that these people did this janitor wrong. This isn't some new thing because the election's coming up in 30 days. However, I'm doing this live right now. I 100% admit it. I want Ditzler out. I want DeGenova out because of this. I don't care about your history. I don't care about what you've done for the county. I don't care how long you've been here. You put politics first. You put your political party first. You put your buddies in power first to try and fire a janitor that's doing his job, that was practicing his freedom of speech. The evidence there with the dates, the times are against you. Plain and simple. So, sorry, can you guys tell I'm really ranting and I've had way too much coffee today? So, now, I keep doing this too. It's like I'm pulling up documents. All right. Next up, we will go into, this is getting into some slimy stuff. And I'm not going to lie, I don't necessarily agree with the time this was released. I'm doing this thing to try and get these people unelected. I'm not going to lie. But this is kind of on the line of, why is this timing out right now? So, DeGenova is in an ugly marriage with her estranged husband. There's all kinds of rumors. I'm not going to get into the rumors. I don't want to get into her personal life and all that stuff. However, her estranged husband in August or July of 2024, 2 or 3 months before the election, comes forward and says the following. He goes, so according to the debate last night, what's this dude's name? This guy doesn't actually have his name. We'll just call him DeGenova's ex-husband. Goes to Lynn Morrow, who is running against DeGenova, and says, I have all this evidence. I want to make a personal statement against DeGenova about the Ricky Morrison case. Okay? So there you go. Ex-husband comes out and says, hey, I want to make some claims. Morrow, according to the debate last night, immediately sent him to Marty Desmond, who was actually co-counsel for Chandra Law. He has a history in Youngstown where he was actually wrongfully fired, and they took him to court. He took him to court and won like $500,000 against the county. So he has a history of this. I think he's got a freaking axe to grind, obviously, when you think about that. I mean, he was wrongfully fired, all this stuff with Paul Gaines. You can Google that. It's crazy. But anyways, Marty Desmond in October 9th of 2024, that is literally 7 days ago, files a petition. Let me pull this up. The petition Martin Desmond respectfully moves this court to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate and, if warranted, prosecute the matters addressed in this pleading and related issues. For cause, the law grants inherent authority to the court to appoint a special prosecutor in the matters in which where the county prosecuting attorney has a conflict of interest. She, her staff, and her clients, the commissioners, are subject to criminal allegations. Some people on Facebook are saying Ricky Morrison settled a civil lawsuit. The commissioners are protected. That is not true. Stop lying or acting like you know what you're talking about. Civil, criminal are two separate things. Okay? Marty is asking for a special investigator to be put forth, a prosecutor from outside Mahoning County to be put forth. The timing on this is bad. The optics of the timing on this is bad. You have an estranged husband. You have Marty Desmond, who sued the county. And you also have it a month before the election. Literally, I think it's like, is it exactly 30 days? I don't know. When's the election date? Does anybody know if you're watching? Is it the what is it, the 6th or 7th? So it's like almost 30 days. And maybe I'm falling for it by writing. Am I falling for them doing this 30 days? Oh my God, I am. I'm falling for it. But it's okay, because I don't want Ditzler to get elected, and I don't want DeGenova to get elected. All right. The witness prepared a written statement, swore to the content of via affidavit. Portion of the statement are below. Gina received an email. Now, again, this is from her husband. Take it for what it's worth. Jaded lover or somebody stepping forward to help or a little bit of both. You make the call here. This is all his testimony. No emails. I have no documents on this, but this is interesting when he comes forward. Okay. Again, take it for what it's worth. I am trying to put this together with evidence, like our timeline, like our emails, that stuff. This is getting into the political stuff that I don't like touching, but we're going to go over it anyways because it's freaking, what is it, Wednesday? Come on, man. Wednesday at 9. Let's go over this stuff, right? Gina received an email from Chandra. Mr. Chandra requested a Gina investigate. Okay, here we go. I personally overheard Gina speaking with Carol Righetti about the termination of Ricky Morrison. Ditzler and Righetti wanted to fire Ricky Morrison because he voted for Gina DeFabio against Carol Righetti in the 2022 election. Overheard. Hate that. Do you got any docs, dude? You got any evidence? We need evidence. We don't need freaking hearsay. That's the problem with this. I asked Gina to not get involved because she worked with both David and Carol. I went into her. Let's see here. I asked her if she's willing to jeopardize career defending these guilty people. She said they were friends and they should be represented on the issue. Let's see here. More importantly, there's a bunch of different stuff. Here we go. And it's still another conversation with G. She told me that she was up with the commissioners because they had gone about firing Morrison the wrong way. She was angry because the commissioners didn't use her as counsel for the termination. Remember, she wasn't in that meeting. We talked about that earlier. Remember that? Gina said they could have used her to help them document issues with Morrison over a period of time and to terminate it in the ways that they could make it look like it wasn't politically motivated. I've worked in corporate America before I was in cutoffs, not in cutoff today, and doing this and the other stuff I do. To fire somebody, and maybe if you're working in HR, you know this, you need to have documented issues. You need to have, he did this, she did this on this date, he did this, he did this on this date. We talk to them, they come in, they sign a paperwork admitting it, you put them on like a written approval plan, you do all that stuff. That never happened. There was nothing like that for Ricky. He, again, looking at the timeline one more time, November 28th, Righetti saw him at a meeting with DeFabio. December 22nd, December 1st, 4 days later, executive meeting held. We have the documents. December 2nd, Ricky fired. No documents about anything of him doing bad, nothing. Just slimy, isn't it? Ugh. Okay. Gina wrote a false, let's see here. And the other thing that's scary, if this is true right here, where she says, over a period of time to terminate him in a way that would make it look like it wasn't politically motivated. In corporate America, I have seen banks purposely write people up to fire them down the road. Seen it happen. Put them on a written performance plan, then they get rid of them because they don't like the person, they don't like the way they work, exactly that kind of stuff. I've seen that happen. The entire email is a lie. When she sent that email, Gina knew from the commissioners Righetti and Ditzler that Morrison had, in fact, fired for political reasons. I personally heard Commissioners Righetti admit to Gina that she, quote, fucked up. Gina also lied in an email to the media where she categorically denied Morrison's allegations above covering up his political termination and said that there had been no wrongdoing by her. David Ditzler, who told the media by Audrey Tillis fired Morrison, which of course was false. Ditzler also said publicly and in the Morrison lawsuit that Morrison fired absolutely was not retaliation. I know from my conversation with Gina and Ditzler lied to Gina to help promote that lie. As noted above, I heard Carol admit to Gina that the firing was political reasons. Trafficani told Gina that Morrison firing was a retaliation for Morrison's attendance to the Board of Elections. It just goes on and 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 on. I'm tired. This is exhausting. So, one last thing before we finalize this and our rant on this stuff. I want to go over last night, WFMJ, our friends at WFMJ had a debate between DeGenova and Lynn Morrow, who are running against each other on this coming November. The reporter, I forget her name, she does a great job at this debate. The reporter brings up the Ricky Morrison case, asked DeGenova about the investigation. She has it's a two-part question we're going to watch. Says something like the commissioners fired Ricky Morrison, a new lawsuit, something like that. Then talks about the commissioners and the investigation that she does. Not once has DeGenova ever said what she did to investigate it. Did she pull the commissioners in? Did she talk to Audrey? Nothing. DeGenova dodges this question and starts doing the how dare you bring up my personal problems. The problem is, Gina, your personal problems are now leaking out into the world of politics and the public because your ex-husband came forward and is saying this stuff that when you look at it, line up pretty damn good against everything else that has happened. She dodged the question, though, about the investigation. And that is where it's kind of like, why won't you answer what you did? Did you pull them in? Did you talk to them? Do you have written notes on it? Do you have any evidence whatsoever of your investigation? Of your own people, by the way. Sorry. I'm just sending my wife to voicemail. I'm a bad person. I'm busy. I'm in the middle of something. Okay. Maggie's going to be so mad when she sees this. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go.
We'll move on because we have more to get into on that topic, but not just yet. First, Ms. DeGenova, this is to you. Last week, attorney Marty Desmond filed a request asking that a special prosecutor be appointed to investigate your alleged role in the firing of county employee Ricky Morrison. Yes. The allegation is that Morrison was fired for supporting an opponent of a city commissioner and that you were aware of that, but helped create a false narrative to cover up the reason for the firing, saying the commissioners had nothing to do with it and reinstating Morrison. Do you deny these allegations? And if so, what discussions did you have with the commissioners about this matter?
Okay. Wait. Say that again. Say that again. Say that again.
Did you have with the,
right there.
So what discussions did you have with the commissioners about this matter?
That.
I'll tell you, Lindsay, I absolutely categorically deny them. And what's very sad is that the allegations that stem from Mr. Desmond's motion are statements that my estranged husband, whom I had to make the difficult decision to leave and file for divorce in August, told him. What's also very troubling, as I'm sure many people can understand, in a bad marriage, in an abusive marriage, that we often have to make decisions to leave. And that man, who has never had issues and never has made allegations until such time as I had to make the decision to walk out of the door, contacted my opponent. And my opponent took the call. And as a matter of fact, my opponent her close campaign advisor, connected my estranged husband to Mr. Desmond. And I just don't understand how someone would think that first of all, talking about someone's personal issues, about the most private things that go on in their lives, is something that should be used for political gain. That filing by Mr. Desmond is designed to help Ms. Morrow and a county commissioner, Gino DeFabio. What's also sad is that my opponent and her advisor, Mr. Uhas, directed and connected my estranged husband to Mr. Desmond, knowing that he has a propensity to accuse people of crimes. He accused my opponent of manslaughter in 2016. This is absolutely heartbreaking to me, that not only had I had to leave a bad marriage and file for divorce, but that my opponent and members of her campaign are using my estranged husband to continue to victimize me. I have to tell you, those statements are untrue. And for me to have to even discuss this on a debate about my personal problems is alarming.
Okay. Gina, I'm sorry you were in a bad relationship. I'm sorry your husband left you or you left your husband or whatever it was. I'm really, really sorry about that. I'm sorry this is being brought up. You can see by your distraught face, you're very hurt and upset by this. You didn't answer the most important part of the question. And if I was the moderator, I would have called you out on it. What did you do to investigate the issue of your clients? Let's keep watching. Lynn Morrow has a great response to this. And Lynn, I wasn't going to vote for you. I was just going to no vote. You got my vote after this. Here we go.
Thank you. First of all, I raised the impropriety of Attorney DeGenova's conduct long before her divorce.
True. We all have, Gina. We have all been asking what was going on. Why did it go down this way for 2 years, 3 years? Everybody has, and there's no answer. You never answered what you did, how you did it. There was nothing. Nothing. You guys just settled so you can get away with it.
Long before her husband reached out to anybody, the rules of professional conduct that govern lawyers' conduct apply to the prosecutors like they do private attorneys. We don't get to investigate our own clients. It's improper. It's wrong. And 18 months ago, I said, within 2 weeks of her taking office, Ricky Morrison was terminated. She investigated her clients and said they did nothing wrong. It wasn't politically motivated. I don't know if it was or was not. It was wrong for her to personally investigate this and clear her own client. And here's why it was wrong. She has touted the Mahoning County Prosecutor's Office as the largest law firm in Mahoning County. Let's run it that way. There isn't a law firm anywhere that would investigate their own client and exonerate them. Because here's the problem. If you investigate your own client and they did something wrong, you then have to turn them over. Shouldn't have ever happened. An independent investigation should have been done when Ricky Morrison was terminated.
Right? An independent investigation should have been filed. Why? Why should an independent should have been filed an investigation? Because DeGenova was appointed on November 22nd. Because her first day on the job, the commissioners and all those people, Karen from HR, went into an executive meeting to fire somebody that Rigetti saw on November 28th. December 2nd, after that meeting, Ricky Morrison was fired. He lawyers up. Gina says she does an investigation. Gina, I almost feel bad for you at this point because you were thrusted into a terrible position and you chose the wrong way to go. That's it. So, all right, let's keep going.
And then we would all have confidence in the outcome, and her soon-to-be ex-husband wouldn't be able to raise these issues. Now, addressing her false allegations that I've used this for any benefit, her ex-husband contacted me with a laundry list of things he wanted to raise. And my response was, I've run my campaign on the issues. I'm not going to fling mud. I have no desire to get involved in this. She keeps saying it was so improper to direct him to Marty Desmond. She knows Marty Desmond represented Ricky Morrison. And the response to her husband was, if you think something was done wrong in the Ricky Morrison investigation, if you have evidence of a cover-up, why don't you go to Ricky Morrison's attorney? That's the bottom line. There's nothing nefarious or improper about saying, if you think something's wrong with that, go to the attorney that handled the case. Marty Desmond was Ricky Morrison's attorney when he filed the wrongful termination lawsuit. And despite her finding of no wrongdoing, the county paid $175,000 for his wrongful termination.
If I could address that real briefly. Yes. So when my opponent talks about this alleged conflict that I had to investigate my own clients, this is not criminal misconduct that was alleged. And I can tell you who didn't think I had a conflict was Ricky Morrison's lawyer, Subodh Chandra. He contacted me directly on a Sunday in December and implored me.
If you just joined us or haven't been watching, this is a lie. This is a straight up lie. According to the email from Chandra, which we went over earlier, you can watch this when we're done. You can go back and watch. He never said to investigate. He said to do the right thing. He actually was hinting at her pressing charges against the commissioners. This is a lie.
Me, not anyone else, me, to do the investigation to look into. When we say investigation, It's a review. We're a lawyer. I'm supposed to review the matter. I did review the matter, Lindsay. I advised my clients that Mr. Morrison should be returned to work. He was returned with no loss in pay or health benefits. All right.
True. You did give him his job back. But why? Why did you give him his job back? The lies in this thing. They're saying, oh, Audrey Tillis fired him improperly. That was wrong. She had the power to do it. We went over the paperwork. All of this is dirty as shit. Excuse my language. It is dirty. It is wrong. A guy got fired because of this. All right, let's close this out. Let me rant one more time. So, in summary, after an hour and 6 minutes of us going over this information, again, if you like what you've seen, like and subscribe, follow the MLO Bros. We're on the Instagram, we're on the TikTok, we're on the Facebook, we're on YouTube. We do all this stuff. If you're new to us, we help the community through charities. We also cover stuff like this. We have guests on our shows, that kind of stuff. Anyways, get into this. Summary of this whole thing. One more time from the top. November 22nd, DeGenova, prosecuting attorney, is nominated and appointed to be prosecutor of Mahoning County. November 28th, a recount takes place where current Commissioner Righetti sees janitor Ricky Morrison talking to Gina DeFabio, sitting by Gina DeFabio in a recount. She wins the re-election by 135 votes. Notices Ricky Morrison. Ricky Morrison goes to say, hey, congratulations. She says, you're with us. How dare you? Whatever it is that she says, basically says, how dare you vote for somebody else other than me? You work for us. December 1st, 4 days later, Ricky Morrison, an executive meeting takes place. We have all the paperwork. I have all the documents to prove that. All commissioners there. HR is there. Audrey Tillis, county administrator, is there. They go into an executive session to fire somebody. You don't have the names on the paper, but the next day, December 2nd at 9 a.m., Ricky Morrison is called into his boss's office and is fired. They go to a lawyer. He goes to a lawyer. He gets his job back the next day when an email goes from the lawyer to DeGenova, the prosecutor. And then all of a sudden, it just spirals out of control into Audrey Tillis fired him. It wasn't the county commissioners, however. DeGenova says Audrey Tillis doesn't have the power to do that, gives him his job back. That's a lie. 2020, there was a resolution that gave her the power to do that. The commissioners go on to say, if you look at some of the news articles saying he wasn't fired, he was on probation. That's a lie. They had nothing to do with it. Trafficani calls DeFabio and DeFabio calls Trafficani. Trafficani, the commissioner, talks to Ricky Morrison saying they voted on it. The commissioners voted on it. And he got fired 2-1, which is a directly opposite of what DeGenova said, where Audrey Tillis fired him. Nothing adds up in this issue with our county commissioners. Nothing they're saying adds up. Nothing goes together. There are so many holes in everything these people are saying. They couldn't even properly cover up an issue with a political firing. That's the way I look at this. They tried to cover it up and they botched it. They got busted over and over and over. So here's what it is. The election takes place next month. Righetti is running, David Ditzler is running against Gina DeFabio for county commissioner. I 100% will be voting for Gina DeFabio because of this and only this. I don't know what a freaking Ditzler has done in the past. Sure, he's brought money and sure, he takes photos of pictures and stuff like that. All I can tell you is, according to this, he voted out, there are documented evidence, a janitor with cancer, because his buddy, Carol Righetti, the other commissioner, was at a meeting and saw that person there. The next 4 days later, they met and voted him out. I am also voting for Lynn Morrow because Gina DiGenova, with all the documents, basically botched a cover-up. And the commissioners were out there seeing stuff, and DiGenova saying stuff. None of it adds up. I truly believe it is my opinion that she tried to cover up this firing for the commissioners. 100%. Ricky Morrison got his job back, but that doesn't make it right. What they did to him, the stress he had to go through for a week or two without having a job, to lawyer up, to go through the stress of that, because he went and voted and supported for somebody else. Could you imagine that? That's it. That's what we're doing. All of this has been my opinion. The paperwork was done from Freedom of Information Act. All of that is documented. I will send it to anybody that has a question about it, that wants to see it for their own eyes. I can email it to you. You can email me at the MLObros at gmail.com to see it. I 100% believe Ricky Morrison in Youngstown, Ohio, Mahoning County, was fired for political reasons. He got his job back. He won, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't give the commissioners, DiGenova, Audrey Tillis, a free pass to get back into office. We, the people of Mahoning County, have put up with stuff like this for too long. It's not a Democrat. It's not a Republican thing. It is 100% a political, two-party political system that corrupts, that pushes supporting your own party over the people. That is what this is. And I'll tell you what, if Gina DiGenova gets hired or Lynn Morrow get hired and they get put into a position of power and they do stuff like this, you have my word that the MLO Bros will be doing streams, will be doing podcasts, will be doing stuff like this to call DeFabio and Morrow out. This isn't Republican. This isn't Democrat. This is doing the right thing. You are an elected person. You need to make the decisions that are best for the people, not for you and not for your political party. Everybody, thank you for joining. If you have questions, commissioners, Gina, if you guys want to come on and talk one-on-one, I will let you come on and you and I can sit here right next to each other and talk about this. You can defend yourself. You can come forward and say it. You can come on the show and answer every question I have. But I swear, if one of those questions, we're in a lawsuit or I can't talk about that, all you're doing in my eyes is covering up exactly what you did. Whew, how'd I do? Was that good? I'm tired. I'm going to have to go take a nap after that. That was absolutely draining. Everybody, Luke Schuster from the MLO Bros. Have a great day. Wonderful Wednesday. Please vote according to who you believe is right, not in a political party. Bye, everybody.